88.3. I'd like to say good morning to everybody. This is People Want to Know show. People want to know real laid back this morning. We worked real hard last night. We had Firebird Fever.
Yes.
The community supported so well with the canned good drive, and of course, man, we started canned good for days. We want to give the whole community some love this morning for reaching out, and it was a great community connection. We're going to give T.O., Coach Daniels, and GM, and owners, and all the people that actually made it possible, all the way down to even Jackson Riley and the entertainment, Big Scoop. Yeah, as you see, the people came together
Frankie,
in the
don't
community. Frankie the Firebird.
Don't
We got to
forget
call
Frankie
it.
the Firebird now.
I mean, it's
And the
great.
Flamettes.
88.3. Good morning. How you doing?
How you doing?
Gary. Okay, who we got this morning? How you doing there?
John Thomas with the Albany Business League.
Oh, John Thomas with the Albany
Good morning.
Business League. Good morning. How you feeling?
I'm feeling great. How about you?
Okay, I know you want to give us a report as far as what's going on with the Albany Business League. We was just chatting a little bit about Firebird Fever last night. We had the community to come out in droves. I like to use that word. But so many different personalities, so many people that did so many different things, they all pitched in. And it was just wonderful. Albany community builders, we had a canned good drive, and people just brought 3-4 to the bag. And it's supposed to have just been one canned good. And we might have collected over 5,000 canned good.
Oh, man.
Oh, and that's awesome, ain't it?
Yeah, it's awesome.
And we're going to strategically plan because, you know, there's always someone in need, and always the storm, fire, whatever, you know, there's always someone in need. So we're trying to strategically plan the way we're going to distribute things. And it's just going to be a blessing to so many people because, you know, anytime you receive a blessing, you want to return it. And Almighty Creator opened up the windows of heaven and poured out a blessing we almost couldn't receive it all.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, John. Talk about what's going on with the Business League, if you can.
I'm John Thomas. Actually, I'm the vice chair of the Business League, and we've not been in operation probably since October last year. And what led to us, developing the Business League was that we saw a need when it came to black businesses.
Okay.
For one thing, we saw the difference in revenue because when you talk to business, you're really talking numbers.
Okay.
And we saw that most of the black businesses cater to service, and which allow minimal return, meaning a lot of the black businesses
Services.
that I know, they may have existed 10, 15, 20, 30 years, but have been unable to grow. Also, one of the other things that we've noticed that there's a lot of African American people who may have a business or have a desire for a business, or who can cook good, and they think because I can cook good and people tell me my food is good, and they go and they begin to sell plates, or they may even go and get into a restaurant or open up a small restaurant. But what we wanted to be able to do was help them understand the business side, because just because you can fry chicken doesn't mean you can run a KFC or you can run a
Go ahead with that. We understand. Go
we
ahead.
wanted to help you get the knowledge and help surround you with people who can help you grasp the business side of business.
Okay.
We have a deep need when it comes to understanding the business side of business.
Okay.
Also, one of the other things is we actually got a list of all the black businesses in our business. So when you're searching for them, whether it's online or offline, there's not really a lot of businesses don't have exposure. So you can't find them. You don't know they have these services. They're not in the phone book, which people rarely use the phone book anymore, but they don't have online pages. They're not active online, as well as, you just can't find them.
So
We want to help a lot of those businesses get exposure as well.
So you saying that is it because you feel they don't know how to advertise, or they just don't have an advertising budget?
Well, the thing I'm learning about a lot of, they can consider that when they go into business. A lot of the businesses just, as I said, they can do something. They have a skill, and they just go into business from the skill. They don't go in with an advertising budget.
Right.
To become a successful business, you go in the door with a plan. So that was also one of the most important stages.
Right. So how do people get in contact with you to join?
Actually, we have about 400 black business owners in the Facebook group, so you can go to Albany Business League on Facebook, and also next week on the 17th we're having a night of networking at the Hilton Garden Inn from 6 to 8 o'clock. So you can come out, meet other business owners, learn more about the business league as well.
I also want to throw this in as well, John. Oftentimes, we have the small mom and pop shops, and if you study how stock market and that kind of thing was set up, usually other people bought into ideas, and therefore we have to learn how to set up, from boards to becoming incorporated and setting up things, because usually what happens, we try to do it all by ourselves. And of course, African Americans, we have this conflict resolution problem when we deal with others. So usually, not even our family be a part of what we're doing, and that's usually the reason we stay mom and pop, and we can never get to the next level. And even when we do get the business loan, because sometimes you can put yourself overextend yourself, and put yourself, and you just want to get 3-4 buildings, be the biggest thing on the block, and we don't know how to gradually work to what we're trying to achieve, I think. And we want to fly on the elevator instead of taking our steps.
Go ahead on, brother.
Go back to the education part.
Yes, sir.
That's the most important part, is becoming educated on what it takes to build a successful business that eventually sustains itself, as opposed to, I got an idea, I know this will sell, go rent a building, get some inventory, people come in for a little while, and after that I'm back out of business. I see it all the time, especially here local, where people put thousands of dollars into businesses, and in a couple of months, that money's just gone.
And the next thing is the support, because what's happened sometimes, we don't get the support. We see other ethnic groups come in the neighborhood and, with a service, and they basically get all the support because of course, price is always, a matter. But you see it all over, and it's always been that way. How do we, John, how do we educate people on the importance of supporting? In order to rebuild communities, there's going to have to be some revenue. And when there's no revenue, everybody's going to run to where the revenue is.
And matter of fact, Mr. John and Gary, this is Chris. I just want to say that, yesterday on Facebook, as a business owner pretty much said that it was time out for the nickel and diamond, because, we go out there, we start a business, and we put our hard-earned income in it, the capital, even the educational. But then when it comes down to it, how do we get to the point where we don't have to deal with people nickel and diming us all the time for our services?
And that's a good question. And I think it comes down to, how you start out is how you usually end up. I tell people all the time, I don't meet people in Walmart negotiating deals. So you got to have the same standard. People know I don't work deals in my store, but a lot of black businesses, what we do is, in the beginning, just to get customers, we bottom line ourselves. So how you start out can potentially play a role in it. And I think another great thing is understanding your market.
And what
understand your market, then do you want to serve the people who can barely afford something? Or do you want to cater to people who can afford what you got to offer? So it's a lot of different dynamics, and that comes with the education.
Yeah,
as far as the question what Brother Gary is saying is, we support each other. One of the things we got to acknowledge is that, especially when you're talking about the local curb stores, is that we don't own any. So people are going to go spend the money where things are accessible at. So if we're going to corner that market, or even attempt to break into that market, I think it takes going back to the table, strategizing, and then you can definitely put some things into action.
I want to stress the importance sometimes of not a association, but associations. You know, if you notice all over the place, you have the National Press Association. When people, what happens a lot of times in our communities, we'll duplicate the same service and undercut one another. And then we'll play the game as if we're the only game in town. And we do this real cutthroat type of business dealings. And then eventually it catch up with you, you know, because, you know, and I think that's been a real psychological problem when it comes to some business owners, you know, that crab in the barrel mentality. I was trying to refrain from saying that, but, you know, everybody want, you know, to crawl out, but they want to kick everybody else down at the same time in their elevation.
You know, and I like to say that, you know, it's enough opportunities out here for everybody to eat if they work together.
And then that's the other part. When you said work together, see, that's why you have associations.
That's right.
See, associations come up under one mission, one banner, whatever. But the oneness of African American people is basically unheard of. You know, when it's whether it's church, whether it's whatever. You know, and I hate to just mention those particular things, those particulars. But it's congregation, social life is all a part of good business.
Right.
You know,
right.
All that's a part of good business.
And I'm glad for those comments.
And politics.
And politics.
And politics is all part of good business. You know, I'm always I adopt the Maynard Jackson mindset. You know, about making millionaires. You know, we have to get in a position because the most important flow of money, of course, is tax dollars. You know, and we, instead of always waiting for somebody to walk in the store, there are so many services, so many jobs that are available that we can create without asking somebody for a job. You know, self-sufficiency is everything. And that tax dollar is so serious because all of us pay taxes. You know, I'm gonna just say this. I told some children a couple of months ago, you know, do they pay taxes? And they said, no, we don't pay taxes. I said, well, every time you go in McDonald's and you pay for $1 hamburger, how much you pay? 107. You just paid taxes.
You just paid taxes.
So your street lights, you are a part of the whole big scheme of things. And you have a voice in it. So, and you have a voice about where it goes. That's why we have our elected officials. We have to hold them much more accountable, where we almost got to itemize each year the tax dollar the same way we have to do in our income tax. Are you with me?
Yeah.
But the only thing we don't have those groups or those associations that hold their foot to the fire.
Correct.
Everybody must be held accountable, whether it's community, parents, business, schools, churches, politicians, everybody. We must create that kind of society, you know, where everybody's doing the job and everybody on the job.
Correct.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and that would create good business.
Yes, sir.
I think it's a great avenue for the business league. Just come out for and different things to invite people out and address those issues. I think the education part is so important because, as you were saying, I think the reason a lot of people don't participate or give the energy that they would give to something else is really they don't understand the magnitude of what's going on.
That's right. And then, you know, just from saying that, I can feel the hair stand up on the back of my neck because it's a scary thing because everybody want to operate in their own demise. And when you talk about accountability, you know, sometimes we don't want to line up with being accountable. And that's the scary part because usually we've been in a system or environment that's just so carefree, just so, you know, kind of buck wild, and that's why we see that type of result.
So again, I say it's the perfect opportunity. You know,
Perfect opportunity.
It's perfect opportunity, and now's the time to address those issues.
Okay.
How it has to be done, that's another interview.
Okay.
And I think knowing that it needs to be done, and you know, definitely put forth your best effort.
Okay. Well, we thank you.
In addressing one of those issues.
Okay. Well, we thank you so much, John, for Albany Business League, and you found on Facebook, right?
Yeah, Albany Business League on Facebook, and also don't forget next on the 17th at the Hilton Garden from 6 to 8, a night of networking.
Are you in the phone book? I just had to ask for people. Some people don't do Facebook. We got to understand. Huh? You got to be in the phone book too. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Okay.
And you get more than the phone book.
Yeah, cause you got to realize, man, you dealing with age groups. You know, you want to get all age groups. Facebook sometimes limited to people between the ages of 15 and maybe 35, 45. Then you got some other people that just look and don't really do a whole lot on Facebook. Mm-hmm. So, you know, you don't want to give up your foundational aspects of being able to, you know, advertise. You always got television.
You know, you definitely, that's just one of the avenues. But you can always call.
You got television, you got radio.
485
okay.
141. You can call to the radio station.
That's right.
More information. They can definitely connect.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's definitely, you know.
And you know how most people say you're not on Facebook? I mean, do I have to be? I mean, it's good to be, but.
You don't have to be on Facebook.
How about Instagram and Twitter?
No, we ain't.
What about? I mean, there's always cable TV and radio, like it's always been.
Oh yeah.
Okay. 10-4. Thank you so much, John.
Take care, Mr. John. I'm gonna see you next week, bro.
Okay, then. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
88.3, the best in community, old school classics. John, Take Action, Thomas on the move with Albany Business League. We're gonna take a station break and we'll be back.
Yes.
Thank you so much for listening. 88.3